Welcome back to the channel for another episode on epistemology, part of my course, the series Epistemology. And today we're going to talk about, formally I call it means to knowledge. But more precisely, it's the recognition that we have information in our mind. It's a distinction about understanding information is carrying to something we understand. Let's not talk about the meanings right now. We understand things, all right? And so the understanding is called the information. I may say there is a Mercedes in my driveway. You understand Mercedes is a vehicle. You understand the concept of a driver, so you understand what I'm saying. Is it true or false? It's a whole different ballgame. Part of understanding epistemology is to understand the way, many ways that we as humans process information. And that's what we're going to look at right now. All right, just get a little sense of that. When epistemology, there's 8 in my research I showed up, but 6 of the 8 really correlates really well with the 6 theories we're going to be looking at, which are the foundational theory of epistemology. So 6 means, so there are different ways you process information, all right? And these information can be, with the right understanding, made into knowledge, all right? So I'm going to use the common sense notion of knowledge and not any particular philosophers here. So the first thing is this: we reason, which means to think logically, to take information and to process the knowledge logically, okay? So, the first time I did business with Peter, he lied. The second time I did business with Peter, he lied. Now I'm about to engage in a business transaction with Peter again. I can conclude he might lie. Okay, reasoning, we process information, and of course, this one is definitely leads to knowledge. When you have the clarity of the argument and it is precise and exact, you can say, I know X. And a classical example will be 9 times 9. You know, if you're 9 times 9, I know with certainty it is knowledge. So we process information through reasoning. The information already there, we're processing it. Then there's perception. This is not as obvious as reasoning, thinking logically. Perception is the mental understanding that goes beyond the facts. Reasoning, you're processing data in a particular way. With perception, you understand something. Like, for example, in front of you, you see 6 means of knowledge. If you did not speak English, those would be just scribbles on the screen. But since you do understand language, your mind is perceiving the meaning behind those symbols in front of you, right? Language is the most direct and most overt application of perception that everyone can agree with, because you understand the language, but the sound itself is just symbols. Even the verbal sound, if you don't speak English, it does not make sense. So when we use the word perception, we're talking about seeing things beyond the facts. Like you can see a particular car as being beautiful or ugly. You can see that your friend is angry about something. You don't know what. Why? Because you know him for so long that your mind can apprehend anger, but you can't say it as a fact because nothing there for you to observe. You just know the totality of behavior and gestures and speech leads you to this conclusion. So perception is when you're understanding things beyond the senses, right? It's an abstract understanding. It's a functionality of the mind. Another way we process information is called intuition. The mind intuits, it sees inside itself. This word, as well as perception, is greatly misused because for many reasons in the academia and among some philosophers, all right? It's seeing within. Like, for example, if you see that you are hungry, you don't see it with your eyes. You understand that you're hungry. You understand that you like a movie. You understand that you like a particular car. When you see inside your inner space and you understand that you are on the moment are happy, that is not a fact, but your mind can see internally. It can see inside. That's the proper use of the word intuition. The word is so misused. I can't fix the way people misuse the word a lot, okay? But in terms of understand the philosopher's theory, you need to see exactly what they're saying. There is no way intuition is the same as perception. They are not in any way the same. They are not in any way the same. You and your friend go see a movie. You like the movie and your friend doesn't like the movie. The perception, what you understand from the movie, is similar because you both are looking at the same movie. But the reaction internally, you don't choose to like or don't like that movie. You either like it or you don't like it. And you can lie about what you feel, okay? But it is there. Intuition grasps in the truths. So you process information intuitively. You also process information through your imagination. Although imagination is seen as fantasy, daydreaming, or even maybe the bedrock of dreaming itself, we often think of imagination, well, because of that, we think of imagination as not being a bedrock for knowledge. However, to imagine is the permutation of experiences, the permutation of even thoughts and ideas. Permutation means you transform it. You see red in front of you, you think of it being white. You see blue in front of you, you think of it being green, all right? You can imagine things, which can be very irrational. But when you apply logic to imagination, you get the society we have today. You want to solve a math problem, you have to imagine all the possible combinations. Inventions are imaginings. We imagine possible solutions to problems, and then we try it out, and they work, and we move on. But science is driven primarily by imagination. It imagines possible solutions to problems, hypotheses, and then apply until they find a solution. Einstein, one of the greatest scientists of all time, what does he do? He's very imaginative. He imagined the problems and then applied his imagination to his math and science knowledge and found solutions. Imagination really does lead to knowledge because the foundation of our engineering and all the things that we have in our society that's unique and different from what was previously. Cognition, its word means direct sense experience. Cognition and perception are often confused with one another. Just like reason and imagination are also confused. Reasoning, you're moving every step forward by logic. Imagination, whatever you feel like doing, you do, you move forward. But then for it to work, there has been an intention behind imagining. Cognition is direct, raw sense experience without judgment of any kind. You see the car, you see the sunset, you don't judge the sunset as beautiful or not. It's just a sunset. That's cognition, raw sense experience. When you say that the sunset is beautiful, now you've gone into the world of perception. Perception is the interpretation of cognition, at least when you're looking at facts in the world. You can perceive many things that are not actually even facts. But when you're looking at facts like a sunset and you say it's a beautiful sunset, you are interpreting it, and that's your mind doing the interpretation, that's perception. But your eyes, your ears, your smell, everything is giving you the sense experience, and that's cognition. And definitely we process information in that way. Memory. So we have memory, we record things, and the recordings are there in us. From science now, just use science, but from science, we understand when we say memory, we're really talking about recollection. Scientists give us a good framework, all right, in that our system is recording constantly. We're constantly recording what we hear, smell, taste, ongoing, constantly, okay? Now, when we use the word memory, we're really talking about the recollection of what had been recorded. If you can remember something very clearly, very definitively, certainly it could stand as knowledge. If it's vague and obscure, if the memory is vague and obscure, it should be treated as a belief. Thus, memory is a bona fide source of knowledge. Now, look at all of these. All of these are ways we as humans process information. They're really ways of processing information. And if you truly understand knowledge properly, you can treat any of this information as knowledge. And that's what the theories are going to suggest, all right? And it can be treated as knowledge if you understand the limit of each of these ways. None of these ways are perfect. Cognition is not perfect because reasoning, which a lot of people like to rely on, is not perfect, right? So all of these ways does process information, and they can lead to what we call knowledge.